We are in unprecedented times. The impact of the pandemic is significant on multiple levels, including psychological, as it contradicts with what is familiar and expected in the world, leading to confusion and uncertainty. We may be in it for a long haul with our unwelcomed guest, COVID 19. No one knows much about anything regards to how this pans out, but what we do know is that there has been a massive impact on families across the globe as they are trying their best to adapt to the changes in school, work, finances, social routines, etc. Hello everyone, you're listening to the Socially Desi Show, the podcast that motivates you to live, create, and inspire. If this is your first time here, welcome. On our show, we discuss tips and strategies with our guest speakers on how to tackle problems related to personal growth, mental health, relationships, entrepreneurship, and health and fitness. So hit that subscribe button and go check out our website at sociallydesi.com for more of such content. Today, I'm joined by Devyani Jain. She is a counseling psychologist from Jaipur. She has done masters in counseling psychology from Martin Luther Christian University, Shillong. For the past 6 years, she has been counseling young adults, middle-aged professionals, and couples. She expertises in relationship issues, substance abuse, family issues, and disorders like depression, anxiety, PTSD, and bipolar. Hello, Devyani. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Anurag. Thank you for inviting me for the podcast today.
It's a great pleasure to be hosting you on the show today, Devyani. And for our audience who are not aware of the kind of work that you are doing, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your journey before becoming a counseling psychologist?
Hello, everyone. I hope this podcast reaches to as many people as possible because awareness about mental health is important and indeed it requires much more attention than it's usually given. So, about my journey, I would say that I've worked with old age people, I've worked with young adults, I've worked with adults at different aspects of my life, and it has taught me a lot. From what I see is, from what I have learned and from what I see,
Mm-hmm.
it has helped me in reshaping my life in such a way that it is helpful for me right now in my daily life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all say, planting seeds,
Right.
and which helps us in nurturing ourselves. So yeah, I would say that it has helped me in nurturing myself, and I got to learn a lot from my clients, and I hope to do so in the future as well.
So, what has been your journey like when you started doing your masters? And was it something that you inspired to become early on in your life, or you had some different goals while studying?
I did my studies for UPSC as well,
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to appear for any civil services exam,
Okay.
and I did my preparations as well. But I left it within a year, and then again, like I mentioned, that I have done my bachelor's in psychology. So after taking a break for 2 years, I started with my master's, which was from Shillong. It was totally new from me, the culture and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but people were very good over there, and I had fun learning psychology in Martin Luther Christian University, and it has taught me a lot.
And a lot of people don't know. We were discussing it yesterday itself that I have studied from Shillong as well, and but I've done my schooling and you did your master's. So it's a small world how we connect to each other, through
Yeah.
circumstances.
Which college were you in?
I studied in St. John's Whitehall back in 2003 till 6. So I did my schooling there from class 7 till 9.
Okay.
So it was fun. Like Shillong is a great place to be, and I'm sure you must have had a great time there, especially going to PB
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so
It's a
the
fun
Center Point
place.
Mall and all
Yeah.
those things. So it's a great place. I mean, and I have a lot of friends from Shillong, so I'm sure they must be listening to us right now, and they must be feeling happy that yes, we are discussing Northeast. So it's a great thing to do. Now, coming back to the topic, guys. So what we are discussing today with Devyani is I wanted to get her on this podcast to make a big statement about mental health and the kind of stigma that mental health carries in our families. right? We don't know sometimes that a person in our family is dealing with some sort of a mental health issue, and especially during this lockdown and unlock, whatever you call it, it's a different world in 2020, and Devyani is the perfect person for us to make us understand and take us through a journey of explaining what sort of situations families are going through in these days. So, Devyani, why don't you tell our audience what exactly is mental health? Like for someone who doesn't understand it, or maybe he's new to the term, what exactly is mental health?
Okay, I would try to keep it as simple as possible, and I would say that mental health is a state of well-being of an individual, due to which one can cope with normal stresses of daily life, like the
Mm-hmm.
daily work routine, the schedule which they go through, and all those things happening in our life from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
It helps us in dealing with all those stresses.
All right, all right. And when it comes to mental health and mental stress, like what are the different kind of issues that you have seen coming up lately during this lockdown with people?
The first and foremost, I would say, which a lot of people have been coming to me about, is family issues,
Mm-hmm.
because you, as you understand it as well, the lockdown period, everyone has been staying together, and the whole family in one under a roof, and every time 24 into 7, it must be exhausting for some, it must be fun for some,
Mm-hmm.
but gradually there comes a time when we all get irritated, and then we say that no, this is not done and that is not done, and all these things comes up. And as far as family issues, and after that, I can say the most cases which I have got during this period is for sadness, like they are trying to say as positive as possible, but then
Mm-hmm.
it's not happening for them because they don't have anything to look up to. So that is one another factor over there.
And I also believe that there's a lot of common misconceptions in the Indian community when it comes to mental health. Maybe that is why I believe that people who are trying to be positive, like sometimes you are forcing yourself to be positive. I guess that it's okay to be not okay, right, in this world.
Yes, yes, it's perfectly okay not to be okay. See, the thing is, when someone comes for therapy, we often usually like hear them say that their parents have been saying that log kya kahenge,
Mm-hmm.
and what will others think of you that you're going to therapy. But I would like to say that it's a very normal thing. It's just that you're coming here to share and uh, make your problems being heard. So I don't feel there's anything wrong in that.
True, and it's a big of a taboo in India because like you said, log kya kahenge and wo char log kya sochenge and all those. These are the things that actually prevent a lot of people to discuss their problems freely
Mhm.
with everyone, especially with their loved ones. And this is why we are doing this episode, guys. We want you guys to understand if you guys are going through something bad in your life, or you're just not feeling okay. It's perfectly fine. You're a human being. You can reach out to your loved ones. You can reach out to professionals and seek help.
Exactly.
And other thing is that Devyani, we also would like to know that what are the differences. I mean, what sort of a problem is this? Like when it comes to mental health, like how do you differentiate how different it is, from a physical form of disease? How different, and what are the challenges? What sort of challenges do you face when you go through a mental health issue?
Okay, Anurag, for the difference, I would say that mental illness are basically, I would say it are those are brain based conditions which affects thinking, behavior, and emotions of an individual. And unlike other illnesses, mental illness are basically related to issues or problems that start in the brain.
Right.
So it's not like if your leg is paining or if your hands are having some issues, if your back is aching. It's in a way, it's just a problem with the brain. I wouldn't say problem, I would say issues, which is termed as mental illness.
Right. And we have also seen that illness is something which is not new. Like if you see, with the recent suicide of Sushant Singh Rajput, and, this is very recent, but if I take you back 3 years, Chris Cornell, one of the frontmen of Audio Slave, committed suicide.
Yes, exactly.
Chester Bennington, who's the frontman of the great band Linkin Park, he
Mm,
committed suicide.
yeah.
A lot of lot of things are happening in the world, and so mental health is not something that has to be taken very lightly. So it's important for us to understand what are these problems and how do we seek help and reach out to people in order to make ourselves, get rid of this problem basically.
Actually, you didn't mention one another point which is very important because I haven't seen in the news also. So on 23rd May 2020, this year itself, there was a wrestler named Hannah Kimura, if I am not mistaken. She also committed suicide,
Right, right.
but sadly it wasn't reported as much as it was required. And the recent case of Sushant Singh Rajput, here we all started blaming that he was facing some problems in his life and his problematic relationship with others. But I don't feel like, I would say that it's not only about money, fame and things, but something very important which we are neglecting in today's life, which is a true connection, I would say, among family and friends.
True,
So
true.
although we get to meet them daily and talk with them on a daily basis, but but asking yourself that are you really connected is important here.
That's true. I mean, that's the right word that you have used, staying connected. To everyone listening out there, for the past 3 months, we have been, practicing social distancing. Remember, guys, it's called social distancing, not social isolation. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
isolate yourself, right, Devyani? That's the key
Yes,
thing.
exactly. Exactly.
And what are the challenges that you have seen people face during this COVID-19 scenario? What are the impacts, especially if I have to talk about how it has impacted people's mental health during the last 3, 4 months?
As far as the impact is concerned with the ongoing pandemic, I would say that there are people who are being deprived of their daily needs,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see it daily on televisions and articles and everywhere. Migrants and laborers, they don't have access to food
True.
or a place to live or no emotional and physical support.
Correct.
So this has impacted, I would say, vastly.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I would say when this needs remain unmet, I would say there'll be feelings like anger, sadness, fatigue, restlessness, loneliness, and this all can last for a longer period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So and also we saw, I don't know whether you saw it or not, but there was an actor who was requesting to transfer money so that he could survive. There
Yes.
are plenty of cases like that. This might lead to an individual suffering from, I would say, existential crisis,
Mm-hmm.
because of which they might fail to understand what is the meaning and what is the worth of one's life, which is a very important point.
True, true. And when it comes to a family, what sort of family dynamics have you seen change during this whole COVID-19 scenario when it comes to, dealing with mental health?
Yeah, see, the family, I would say, some are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Some are doing, I would say, I can't comment on it, but yeah, the lockdown period has taken a toll on everyone, I would say. There are children who started, like, who were having fun and everything was merry-go-round for them. But eventually they started questioning that when will I get to meet my friends, or when will I get to go to school again. So this all have started impacting their life, and it is giving rise to worthlessness and hopelessness in their minds. So this is a very difficult time for them as well, and for the parents to cope up with them, like they are having virtual classes and everything. They have to they have to do their work from home, and they have to do daily life routine they have to maintain, and everything has been going on with them as well. Suppose I don't know who in your family goes out to buy groceries. Okay,
That's me
so
mostly.
okay,
That's me
yeah,
or my
so
dad.
okay, so you must be overwhelmed by the thought of the precautionary measures,
Yeah,
because you feel like when you go outside, what if you get infected and you come back home and you are living with your family? So
true.
there's a tension in everyone's mind.
True, true. I mean, it's very difficult, you know. It's like a whole routine that you have to carry out. Especially like if I'm going out to get groceries, I have to make sure that I have my mask on, I have my gloves on,
Exactly.
and you know whatever clothes and shoes that I'm wearing, I have to make sure
Mm.
that when I come back, I'm you know throwing them directly into the laundry, and then I take a bath and all those things. So a lot of precautions, and you know that gives you sort of a stress in your mind because you have to make sure to make you know keep yourself safe as well as your family.
Exactly, exactly.
So, and another point that you mentioned about kids, even I was speaking to a few of my cousins who are actually, you know, stuck with their class 10 and 12 exams.
Yeah.
And a few of their exams are still pending. It's going to start in July, I suppose.
Yeah.
So even I could sense a sort of frustration in their minds because, you know, if you take a kid, especially like an Indian kid,
Mm.
whose family is very much attentive towards his class 10 and 12th exam results especially,
Yeah.
so that kid is already going through a lot of stress, and we see you know even our prime minister and different agencies, they come up on stage, and during the exam times they tell everyone that don't take stress, make you know exams don't matter that much, the results don't matter that much, what matters is your effort and your dedication. But you know somewhere in the mind of a kid, that kid is still a bit stressed about his results, and especially with this situation coming in, exams being postponed, and they don't know what's going to happen, what the future lies, especially class 12 kids, they don't know what's going to happen when they go to a college, what sort of college will take them in, what sort of I would say entrance exams would happen. You know, so
Yeah.
it's a dilemma for everyone. So kids, of course, I mean, I can feel that kids are having a big issue with themselves. And
Mm.
what according to you is a way you know that the family can help their kids during this time?
See, if I keep myself in their shoes, I
Mm-hmm.
would say even I would have been going through the same thing. But we as adults, we can do few things to help them. Like we can teach them about time management. You can make a routine and follow that routine. You can help your child read an article or start getting them to read a book,
Mm-hmm.
which is very helpful during these times, and giving them as much as knowledge as possible, like sharing informations with them, what happens if we do this. Using the case of Sushant Singh Rajput, as many of the youngsters would have been following him,
Yeah.
so it must have impacted them as well. So yeah, it is very important for adults to come up, and if the child is not ready to open up, maybe get a professional help or try talking to their cousins so that they could talk to them.
True.
So it this way can work as well.
And what happens to the elderlies in the family during this time? What sort of issues do you see them facing?
Okay. For the elderly, I would say that, see, they are already vulnerable and they are at greater risk of
Mm-hmm.
getting infected, right?
Right.
So it might be frightening for them, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I understand, it can cause mood episodes in them, like I would say feeling anxious or stressed, and majorly anger issues because they are not allowed to go out
Right.
at all.
Right.
So usually the walks have been cancelled. They can't go out to talk to their friends. They can't just step out of the house to go to the garden as well. So it has been very strict for some.
True. True.
Yeah. So especially, and especially for those dealing with cognitive decline and dementia, I would say that they must have been facing a lot of loneliness, because we are usually isolating them so
Mm-hmm.
that we don't uh, do any harm to their health.
And what happens to the father or the mother or the husband or the spouse? I mean, have you seen any sort of relationship issues happening during this time?
Yeah, so few days back, yeah. So it was a few days back when someone came to me and they told me like she was a lady, she was a housewife, and she just mentioned that I feel like I have five, 6 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I do? I can't handle all this. So she was very frustrated actually.
Mm-hmm.
So she has been working all the time. She has work from home, she has kids, she has to do the laundry, she has to do the cooking and everything. She has to take care of the household things, and everything was going on with her.
Right, right.
So I would say women have been impacted a lot more. And the job security, the financial and personal security, everything has been stressing up.
Right, true, true.
So it's very easy to experience depressive symptoms as well during this time.
Yeah, I mean, you have put in a very important point here, especially for women in India. We often see the lady of the house taking care of the kids, making sure that food is on the table, and
Mm.
doing the laundry and all that. So, I have seen a few families where people are chipping in, everyone chips in together, and somebody does the laundry, somebody is doing cooking,
Mm.
or something or the other. But yes, majority of India still relies on women to do everything of the house, be it
Exactly.
yeah. So that is, I believe, that needs to change. That's a big problem in our country.
Yeah.
But coming back to this mental health topic, what do you like? What would you advise to someone, especially women, who are dealing with this kind of an issue where they think that they are doing 5, 7 jobs in a day, and so what sort of advice would you give them?
I would firstly say that please don't panic.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, dividing their time in a thorough manner, so that they have time for themselves to read something, to go and feel like, yeah, they are free at least for 10 minutes, because right now they are not getting time at all. So I would request everyone to make your mothers or your wives feel more comfortable and share their work with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is really important, guys. Everyone listening out there, please, make sure that the women of the house are healthy, because it's a great saying that if the woman of the house is healthy, then the whole family is
Mm,
healthy, right?
exactly,
So
exactly.
you have to make sure that she is comfortable, and you see, I've never seen a woman come up and say that, oh, I will not do this job.
Exactly. They take up everything, and happily that too. They don't crib about it, they do it happily.
Yes, and so this is our responsibility as men, that we support our women of the house, our mothers, our sisters and our kids. We have to support them in
Mm,
whatever capacity that we can, and this too
yes.
shall pass, and we will get through this. But for the time being, it will be overwhelmed for women to feel this kind of a pressure.
Mm.
And what sort of early signs can someone identify? If according to you, that they are facing some sort of an mental health issue.
Okay. Okay, I would mention some basic signs
Mm-hmm.
that would be helpful, I guess. So, some basic signs I would say is, firstly, I would say staying in one's room for most of the day, like not coming out of the room, just being in their room. Maybe they're watching series or doing something, talking to someone, but still staying in their room for most of the time in the day.
Okay, more like an
And
isolating
yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it's not required,
Okay,
really.
okay.
So, and the other would be eating habits and sleeping habits. Like gradually, when there's a decrease in sleep or an increase in sleep,
Mm-hmm.
we usually there must be something going on. They must be thinking about something, they must be stressed about something,
Right,
frustrated about something. So there must be something going on in their minds. So
right.
yeah, this might affect their eating habits and their sleeping habits as well.
True, true.
And another, I would say, excessive fear or worries about certain things that don't let them sleep
Mm-hmm.
or eat, that like I've mentioned. And one another thing is extreme mood changes. Like someday they are very happy go lucky types, and someday they're not willing to talk only.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all these are there. This can be considered as early signs of mental health issues.
Yeah, I clearly remember a few months back when my business was not doing that good. So, even I had these kind of an issue where I was not able to sleep at night properly, and I lost my appetite, throughout the week. So, even I, can relate to this when there's a lot of financial problems that you may land up into, or it can be related to your job, it can be related to your business. I know a few friends who lost their jobs during this lockdown period, and a few of them had their salaries cut to half, and they were recently married. So it's difficult for everyone in the family during these times to cope up with the kind of changes which are happening. So it's always good to reach out to professionals and seek professional help. So, what sort of professional help do people should reach out to, as per you?
See, there are many foundations connected to it. So there's Dia Foundation, there's Care at Door Medical Services, and there's Manas Foundation. There are
Okay.
many foundations related to it and connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you're in need, you can go to them or connect to them. There are government helplines which are toll free. You can call up and talk to a professional, and there are therapists as well. So
Right.
you can call them up. You can just do a Google search about it, and you can get in contact with many of them. So it's up to you, and I would say it is the need of the hour, as we say. So yeah, if you're feeling lonely, sad, or depressed, or you're having some issues with your family or your friends or personal issues, or be it anything under the sun, you are always free to talk. And yeah, so I would say that please get help, so that you don't have negativity in your mind.
And when it comes to the kind of counseling that you do as a
Yeah.
professional, so
Yeah.
how do one reach out to someone like you?
Okay, so I have a page on Instagram. It's at the positive pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone can follow me over there and get in touch with me through direct message. And I have my phone number there as well. So if they want to book an appointment, they can text me. And yeah, you can get in connect with me through that.
So yeah, that's one way of reaching out to Devyani, guys. If you feel like, you can definitely reach out to her Instagram profile. We would be linking her profile in our website sociallydesi.com. You can check it out, and you can definitely reach out to her in case you are someone who needs help. And we always suggest that please do not stay silent. This is not something that you can just be like, oh, it's not a big deal, and I would get through this, because this is deep inside us. This is not like a physical disease or a physical something like an injury that happens and somebody can see it. It's inside, it's invisible, and it eats us from the inside, right? So
Exactly, exactly.
yeah, so it's like a termite which is eating us from inside. So please get professional help. You want to get involved and speak to an NGO, you can go out there, speak to some of the foundations. You can definitely call up the government helpline. We would be putting up the number in our show notes. So just there are so many ways, and there are so many people out there who are helping everyone to stay mentally fit. So I would definitely encourage everyone, even if you feel like that you're just lonely and you just want to talk to someone, we are here. You can speak to us, Socially Desi. You can speak to Devyani. We are here to help you
Mm,
out. uh,
exactly.
Again, Devyani, just before closing up the show, what is that one thing that you would like to say to everyone?
I would say, please don't stay silent and get help if you require. Therapy is not a waste of time. You can get in connect with many of us anytime, and we would be happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Devyani, for coming on to the show and giving us a lot of details and clearing this air around mental health, which was foggy. I hope a lot of people who are listening to us right now would get help if they are in need, and people who know other people who might need help, they would actually get encouraged and help them out in some way or the other.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anurag, for having me on the show.
That wraps it up for today, folks. If you liked the episode, give it a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let's go viral. Remember, our weekly podcast features episodes on personal growth, mental health, relationships, business and entrepreneurship, and health and fitness. We would love to have Devyani on our show again in the future to discuss more about mental health issues and how to cope up with mental health issues in today's world. So if you haven't yet done so, hit that subscribe button and go check out our website at sociallydesi.com. And as always, before I sign off, remember, life is black and white and everything in between.